Welcome everybody. The JFAK 8 rasp knife turned out great with this nice ash burl handle. The HRC is about 57 to 58, best I can tell from my hardness files, which is not as hard as I usually like. I usually like 60 to 61, so it looks plenty dapper, but edge retention here is going to be average sort of at best. So at any rate, it has a faint quench line from our edge quench. If you guys remember, we edge quenched this. And here's a picture with it in ferric to just sort of confirm that transformation. I think that's just as hard as I could get this thing, 57, 58-ish, 59. I think it's closer to 58, 57. And we were still able to keep some of the file markings in there, so, that's pretty cool. You can see on this side, the pattern goes all the way up to the heel from forging it thin. 52-100 3/16 inch bar. I've never found 52-100 flat bar before, so I found this at Jant's and I thought I would give it a try. I'd like to forge a hunter today. I have a friend who returned from a safari in Africa and he left his skinning knife with the guide, so he's looking for something new. I've never been quick at pointing knives, and 52-100 is really going to highlight that. This stuff takes forever. I'm about to draw out the tip, and I'm thinking it's going to be a little long and thin, and the tip's going to get a little shaky, a little weak. So I'm going to take off a little material here in preparation to draw it out and see if I can preserve the desired profile. Alright, time to start drawing out the heel here and working on the plunge. I said in the last video I'm trying to get better with my plunge lines and the heel too. Sometimes I do a really good job of really getting a squared off heel, and other times I get a rounded off heel that you can't really sharpen. It's just like this semicircle that takes up space and moves the sharpened edge further away from the plunge. And I'm really working on trying to get a more squared off area there, which you can do with not too much difficulty, a couple different ways, provided you're willing to either recess the plunge further back or knock the blade width back and lose some width, which ideally I don't really like doing. So I might make a video on different methods that I've tried to get a better heel, a more defined, crisp, squared off heel. And I'm always looking for advice on that. If you guys have a technique you like, man, point me in that direction. See, that's me knocking back the edge a little to try and square it up. Here I'm trying to draw a little more material from next to the plunge down into fill that gap, but things are cooling off. Gotta be very careful. Not hitting hard at all. These are just baby taps, but still a little bit hair raising at this temperature, 52-100. Gotta be very careful. Okay, here I've cut it off and it's time to forge the handle. I've got about 3 3/4 inch of handle material here. I need to stretch it out to about 4.5 inches. That's usually where my handles end up, is about 4.5 inches. So we're just gonna cross peen it both sides, and then we'll hammer that flat and sort of draw it out lengthwise. Here's another method for drawing it out. You just tip it over the edge of the anvil and do your sort of cross peening that way. Press is still down, so we got the old flatter out. Try to make things nice and smooth, uniform width, and flat. There we go, turned out pretty good. We have to clean up the profile a little bit on a grinder, but for the most part it's there. I'm going to knock some stuff off the sides too. It's a little thick for a skinning knife, so I am going to clean it up, and we should get this down to about an 1/8 inch. So time for a medium speed quench oil. We'll get this thing hardened up. It's going to make a good knife. I'll see you guys next time.